Hi friends, I have a book to read to you. It's called Nothing Sticks Like a Shadow. It's written by Tompert and the pictures are by Lynn Munsinger. Are you ready? Do you know what your shadow is? The shadow is the dark part that kind of looks like you whenever there's light. Oh, there's my shadow. Can you see my hand? That's a shadow. You see the dark part on the book? So we're going to learn about how nothing sticks like a shadow. One day, Rabbit was dancing a wild fandango in a field filled with clover. Woodchuck was watching him from the doorway of his burrow. There's Woodchuck over there in his burrow. "Isn't it lonely playing by yourself?" Woodchuck asked. "I'm not alone," said Rabbit, pointing. "See my shadow? It goes where I go and does what I do." Can you see Rabbit's shadow? There are the ears and his hand and his foot and his tail, all there dancing with him. "I know what you mean," said Woodchuck. "I can't escape my shadow either, no matter how hard I try." "Oh, I can if I want to," said Rabbit. "Oh, no, you can't," said Woodchuck. "No one can." I can too," said Rabbit. "Can't," said Woodchuck. And they pitched can and can'ts at each other until Woodchuck said, "I'll bet you my hat you can't." "Looks as if I'm going to have a new hat," said Rabbit. He ran and hid behind the trunk of a huge tree. When he looked around, however, he found his shadow standing beside him. Can you see his shadow? His two big ears. Woodchuck laughed. "You'll have to do better than that," he said. Can you see Woodchuck's shadow? The shadow was there. He couldn't get away from it. Rabbit hurried over to a bunch of bushes and hid behind them. He looked around. No shadow did he see. "I've lost it!" he cried, peeking from behind the bushes at Woodchuck. "Give me your hat." "Oh, no, you haven't," said Woodchuck, pointing. "Oh, there's his shadow. Do you see the rabbit ears again?" Rabbit looked to where Woodchuck was pointing and saw his shadow's head peeking from behind the bushes too. "Take my advice," said Woodchuck. "Give it up. Stop wasting time. Nothing sticks like a shadow." With this, he went into his burrow. He is pretty sure that you cannot get rid of the shadow. Oh, look at this. "Woodchuck thinks he knows everything," Rabbit said to his shadow, "but I'll show him. I'll run away from you." And with a great leap, he set out across the field of clover. Where's his shadow? There, 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 there. Everywhere he goes. Rabbit took longer and longer leaps. His shadow took longer and longer leaps as it followed right behind him. Soon, Rabbit came to a path beside a river. There he met Beaver, carrying a broom over his shoulder. "Why are you running?" asked Beaver. "I'm trying to get away from my shadow," said Rabbit. "Woodchuck bet me his hat that I couldn't." "Well," said Beaver, "it's easy to see you can't run away from it. See if you can sweep it away. Nothing sweeps better than a new broom, you know. And I just bought this one at the market." "Thank you," said Rabbit, and he began to sweep the path where his shadow lay. Let's see if he can sweep his shadow away. Back and forth, Rabbit swished the broom. Great whirlwinds of dust filled the air. Soon Rabbit was coated with dust. Dust got into his eyes, making them itch. Dust got up his nose. He sneezed, and then he sneezed again, but he didn't stop sweeping until he could see His shadow no longer. Whoa, look at this huge dust cloud. He made such a mess. He's trying to hide his shadow. I've got it! I lost it! I lost it! He cried. Dropping his broom, Rabbit danced a little jig. As he danced, the dust settled to the ground, and there was his shadow dancing beside him. Oh, I guess shadows can't be dust swept away, said Beaver. I'm sorry I couldn't help you. He picked up his broom and went on his way. No sooner had Beaver left him than Skunk came along. Goodness, he exclaimed. What happened? I've never seen anyone so dirty. I was trying to sweep my shadow away, said Rabbit. Everyone knows you can't sweep away shadows, said Skunk. You can't hide from them or run away from them either, said Rabbit. Rabbit is learning so much today about shadows, isn't he? Right, said Skunk. When two things are stuck together, you must pull them apart. He leaned over, grabbed Rabbit, and pulled. Nothing happened. He grabbed Rabbit again, and he jerked so hard that he tumbled over backward. Oh, look at Skunk fell down. He pulled Rabbit, and Rabbit fell down. His friends are trying to help, aren't they? Skunk was ready to try a third time when along came Fox on her way to a meeting of her sewing circle. What in the world is going on? She asked. I'm trying to pull Rabbit away from his shadow, said Skunk. Woodchuck bet me his hat that I can't get away from it, said Rabbit. Fox looked at the shadow carefully. Then she took her scissors from her sewing basket. Some things are too hard to tear apart, she said. Let me see if I can cut Rabbit's shadow loose. Clip, 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 went Fox with her scissors. Clip, clip, clip. Nothing happened. She couldn't cut the shadow away. Fox was still clipping when, where's Raccoon? Raccoon! Where's Raccoon? Is that Raccoon? That's Skunk. When Raccoon came along. Well, well, said Raccoon, what do we have here? I'm trying to get rid of my shadow, Rabbit said. Why? Asked Raccoon. Shadows are handy things to have. Sometimes they show you where you are going, and sometimes they show you where you've been. I know, said Rabbit, but Woodchuck bet me his hat that I can't get rid of mine, even if I want to. Did you try hiding from it? Asked Raccoon. Yes, said Rabbit, but it didn't work, and I couldn't run away from it or sweep it away. I couldn't cut it off, said Fox. Let's try soaking it off, said Raccoon. I guess that's the raccoon. And he ushered Rabbit to the river's edge. We're going to try and get into the water and make the shadow go away. Rabbit put one foot in the water, and then he jerked it out. Ooh, it's cold, he wailed. Go on, urged Raccoon. Rabbit took a step. Keep going, said Raccoon. Rabbit shivered. Oh, it's too cold, he cried. He swung around to leave the river, bumped into Raccoon, and fell into the water with a great splash. The river swirled around him. He tossed and rolled, trying to get back on his feet. Oh my goodness. That is not how he wanted to get in the water, huh? Raccoon grabbed him and dragged him up onto the shore. Rabbit was wet to the skin. Water dripped from his ears. His clothes hung on him like wet rags. Never had he felt so miserable. But the water had not washed away his shadow. There's a shadow right there. There it was beside him. Looks as if you're stuck with your shadow, said Raccoon. Why don't you give up? Asked Fox. There she is. Tell Woodchuck he's right, said Skunk. I don't want to, said Rabbit, but I guess I'll have to. Rabbit walked slowly across the field. You've tried. When I reached Woodchuck's burrow, Woodchuck was not at home. Rabbit stretched out on a flat sunny rock to wait for him. His shadow stretched out beside him. He was tired. The hot sun felt good. Soon, steam rose from his drying clothes. He thought about moving to a shady spot, but he was too sleepy to do so. Anyway, he said with a yawn, if I stay here, maybe the sun will melt my shadow away. Rabbit tried hard to keep his eyes open to watch the sun melt his shadow, but his eyelids grew heavier and heavier until he fell asleep. It was dark when Woodchuck shook Rabbit awake. You win, said Woodchuck. Look, he gave his hat to the rabbit. Rabbit yawned and stretched and rubbed the sleep from his eyes. Woodchuck put his hat on Rabbit's head. Congratulations, he said. Your shadow's gone. The sun went away, and so did his shadow. Rabbit turned round and round. Oh dear, he wailed. The sun did melt my shadow. Well, that's what you wanted, right? Asked Woodchuck. No, wailed Rabbit. I was only trying to show you that I could get rid of it if I wanted to, and now it's gone. What am I going to do without it? At that moment, the clouds parted and a full moon shone. And there was Rabbit's shadow. Look, cried Rabbit, it's back. You were right after all. And he and his shadow whirled and twirled in a wild fandango. Of course I'm right, crowed Woodchuck, snatching his hat back from Rabbit's head. I told you that nothing sticks like a shadow. We can always see shadows when there's a light and we're able to block it. I'll talk with you later. Bye.